Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Dinner and a Show on the Road. I'm Brian, and let me put that in drive. So, fun fact, I subscribe to MoviePass, and it's pretty awesome. This is my first time using it, and I decided to use it to catch up on the last of the 2017 movies from last month, and I decided to watch Jumanji, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan, and Jack Black. And by gosh, this is great. You know, it was kind of funny. I really was skeptical about this whole, Jumanji sequel, remake, whatever, because, it's Jumanji. I mean, it was a Robin Williams property. Robin Williams starred in the last one, and Kristen Dunst as well as some other people, but I don't know, I think a lot of people were turned off by it at first because, of Robin Williams passing, and just like it's like people felt like you can't touch that. Robin Williams made it gold. But the first Jumanji wasn't that perfect. They had some good moments, but, I don't know, I think it ran longer than it needed to, and I don't know, there's a lot of distractions in there, but, nevertheless, we're not talking about that, we're talking about this one, and this one was actually, it was a lot of fun. Me, just growing up, in the age where video games was, taking off, for real. Because it started in the 80s, I was in, a kid in the 90s, so, things like the PlayStation, Nintendo 64, those were becoming big. And the Xbox, everything like that. They were just starting to come out, so this was a kind of a fun little throwback to just those video games of old. And so let me just start with the premise, because I'm kind of rambling on. So these four kids, there's Spencer, there's the Fridge, there's Martha, and Bethany. They are all going to detention for various reasons. Bethany, because she's so self-absorbed that, she just gets in trouble. Literally taking a call in the middle of class. You have Spencer, who gets caught cheating doing homework for the Fridge, so that he can pass his class. So they're both caught cheating, and so they get in detention. And then Martha gets in detention because she mouths off to a PE instructor of how useless PE actually is, which is kind of funny because physical activity stimulates the brain, and that helps you stay smart. So, good job on you, Martha. Anyway, so they get detention, they're in a basement, they're just kind of cleaning up, when they find this video game called Jumanji. And they decide to play it, and they pick their characters, and as soon as they pick their characters, boom, they go off into the video game. They get sucked into the video game, and they are now in the jungle, and now they have to try and, finish the game without dying, because if they die in real life, or they die in the game, they die in real life. They have 3 lives and everything like that. So anyway, it's really fun. It's just kind of a fun, positive movie, It's not really that great. And when I mean great, it's not the perfect movie ever, but there's a reason why it's been keeping a lot of box office traction. It's been number 1 at the box office for a lot of weeks because people love it. It's funny, it's great. It took everyone by surprise, really, kind of like The Greatest Showman with its soundtracks and stuff. I thought that movie was good, but it was mostly the soundtrack that kept me interested, whereas this one, it was just a lot of fun. It was a little homage to video games, from Lara Croft to, I guess a little bit of Uncharted, and just a lot of RPGs and things like that. So, I'm not a huge gamer, but, I played video games as a kid. It was more like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro and, Mario Party, Mario Kart, things like that. It wasn't a whole lot of, Metal Gear Solid, Uncharted, or anything or Tomb Raider, so can't, I won't really get a whole lot of those references, but nevertheless, it's great. So Spencer, who is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in the game, his character is a bit of a germaphobe, a little bit nervous. He's smart, but shy. The Fridge is cocky. He's kind of a jock. Thinks he's too cool for studying and things like that. Bethany's the preppy, self-absorbed, I guess, jerk. She's not really a jerk, but she's self-absorbed. And I like how the movie still made her likable by the end. Like in the beginning, of course, she's a total jerkwad, but she becomes a lot more likable towards the end of the movie. And then Martha, she's shy, little bookworm, not really, just wanting to stay with her, stick to herself, and not really branch out a whole lot. Yeah, I mean, they keep these characteristics in the game, which was interesting, but they also had attributes of their own video game characters. And I guess the great thing about video game characters and why they're so hard to adapt into movies is because they don't make video game characters, they don't give them a whole lot of depth because they want the player to feel like they are the character. So they don't add a whole lot of that. But in this movie, how they get around that is that they are characters that we have our school students being these characters. So I mean, it sort of makes sense. And they just can translate those characteristics from their real lives to now, or to the game. And they just kind of get little extra bonuses, like Martha is a kung fu, tai chi, martial arts fighter, whereas Spencer is pretty much the main hero, but he's like a hardcore, muscly bound superhero. Fridge is like the sidekick with the backpack. And Bethany, she was great because her character is Jack Black, who, oh my gosh, Jack Black nails the role. He pretty much stole the show for me. He was hilarious, playing a preppy teen girl, frantic about where her phone is and all that stuff. It was amazing. I loved it. And then there was another character played by one of the Jonas Brothers. I want to say it's Nick Jonas, but if there are any Jonas Brothers watching this, or Jonas Brothers fans, sorry if I got your name wrong. I think it's Nick Jonas. Yeah, he's a surprise character that I wasn't expecting. I actually forgot about it. I was like, what is he doing here? I haven't seen him in a movie since Camp Rock, and that was an awful movie. But besides the point, he actually did okay. Definitely not the best actor there. But he does his part. He's not really distracting. Dwayne was great. His acting chops have improved. You know what? He's come a long way since The Tooth Fairy, and thank God, because that movie was horrendous, and I can't believe he did that. But you know what? He stuck to it, and he's now a really fun actor to just watch movies with. He's picking better projects now, like Fast and the Furious. He's part of the Disney family now with Moana. He's doing Rampage soon, and I think that might be, you know what, I feel confident it's going to be in the positive percentile for and be the best video game adaptation that's released in theaters. I think Netflix has a 4-episode series of Castlevania that's a video game, and that somehow skyrocketed, but or got a lot of positive reviews. But it's Dwayne's been doing pretty good. As far as story, I mean, there's a lot of exposition in the beginning, especially with the characters. It's like what they do. It's like the mom, for the Fridge is basically saying, it's like, are you doing your homework now? Because you're about to fail this class. And you need, to pass to stay on the team. And So I mean, there's very obvious, things like that. So I mean, the script isn't like, they don't do the exposition in a great way. But once they get into the game, that's when it's understandable, because you have to in a game you have to know the story, you have to know the exposition, you have to, and they explain stuff really funny in a funny way, because a lot of games have cutscenes, and so Spencer, who's the video game maestro, he's explaining to the people, it's like, oh yeah, this is a cutscene, we're finding out what's going on, because the film cuts to a scene to kind of explain what, like, one of the non-game characters or non-playable characters is saying. And so they explain that, and that's pretty funny. I was like, oh yeah, because they do that all the time in video games. So yeah, that was really great. Yeah, they even make fun of like some sexist stuff, that happened back in the, I mean, still does a little bit today. But, so like Martha plays a character named Ruby Roundhouse, and she is a great fighter and everything like that. Her character's not weak, but, she's dressed in a very sexy way. And if you know, like back in the day, a lot of, especially back in the day, a lot of like the Street Fighter, the Mortal Kombat, a lot of just Lara Croft and Tomb Raider. I mean, they were all dressed in a very sexualized manner, and so they kind of made fun of that. Martha's like, I feel like I'm wearing a bikini in the jungle, and so I mean that got a laugh out of me. A lot of the humor is pretty good. I really did enjoy. I just enjoyed the aspect of the game. There are a lot of things for video games wise, like the non-playable characters. Here we go. The non-playable characters, they act very robotic, and that was very smart and clever. It's like they're not interacting with the players fully. So I think a lot of like CinemaSins, whenever they get a hold of Jumanji, they might give a lot of it a pass, or maybe not, because it's a video game, and a lot of video games stick with like certain structures and everything like that. So I thought it was pretty clever in how they were able to get away with a few things. And I liked how the characters, it sort of like reminded me of Breakfast Club, where they all get detention, but by the end they are, they sort of, they become better friends. They learn from one another, they trust each other. Fridge and Spencer used to be great friends back in middle school, but late in high school they just, went their separate ways, because Spencer was sort of a geek and a nerd, and Fridge wanted to, be popular and on the, be on the football team, keep up his image, and just things like that. So anyway, it was pretty cool. I'll say, I guess my biggest gripe would be the villain. Villain wasn't very fun, he was just kind of standard. He wasn't like a big threat, really. I mean, his power was to, control the animals, whoop-de-doo. Aquaman can do that with sea creatures. So, I mean, although, hey, in real life, controlling an animal, or at least being able to talk to an animal, get them to do stuff for you, I mean, hey, that's pretty cool. Anyway, the villain was really weak. I wish that they kind of made the villain more interesting in this. I mean, I know they wanted to focus on the characters, the main characters, our heroes, but yeah, I mean, make the villain fun, make him goofy at least. He looks goofy with that weird glossy eye, but that's it. But other than that, I had a really fun time. I'm gonna give this a high five. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I can see why people were, are going back to see this movie, because it's number one at the box office still, I think, for as of this recording. It's just fun. You can't go wrong with it. like I said, the first Jumanji, I mean, it's kind of holds a little bit of nostalgia because of, you know, Robin Williams passing, but so that's, I think, why people were protective of it. But, you know, people are starting to realize, hey, this sequel, remake, whatever, is pretty good. It's a lot of fun. I think I can do it. I think I can watch it. So go ahead and watch it. You'll have a blast. I was laughing in the theater, so I think you will too. But that's all I got. I'm rambling on. Until next time, I'm Brian, and I will see you at the movies.